Hey everybody, I am back in the Nautilus and I'm here to continue my build for the submarine. But before I do, a number of you have been asking about Mrs. Toybox and how she's doing. And I realized I hadn't given you an update in a little while, but she's doing very, very well. She's walking a mile around the neighborhood every day. She started cardiotherapy this morning, and she's actually there right now while I'm recording this. She's able to drive herself, which is good. Last week we took a little date day and went out for a drive in the country over to this quiet little town, and walked around the shops and had lunch, and it was a good day. So she's doing very well. Her stamina's built back up, and she's doing good. So thank you very much for those of you who've been asking about that and praying about it. And I appreciate that very much. Before we get started with the hull build, I want to come and look at something in the engine room that Jet Blast 190 pointed out to me yesterday. And, oh, looks like I forgot to plug some gaps in the hole here too. In the hull, in the floor. So I'll have to take care of that too. Anyway, he had pointed out that one of the things I might do that could possibly save memory would be to lower the ceiling in this corridor. I've got these Death Star walkways stacked up 3 high, and he is right, that corridor is a little bit tall, and I think maybe those walkways might take up a little extra memory. And so I think what I want to do here is do what he did. If I can get my camera to work properly here. Alright, I think I forgot to set the theme on this before I started, so let me do that. We need our iron rivets theme. Once again, that's what I'm using for all of the metal here. So we'll take this out. We'll take this out. And he did not do this, but I'm actually going to lower this because I think having the clear doorway there would be a good thing. And then we're going to put this up here like that. And then I'm going to take out this walkway on both sides of the corridor. And he had put a few of these beams in here, like I just put down right here. But actually, I think might even save a little more memory if we put down a flat floor surface. So I'm going to do that. We're going to put this down. Oops, there we go. And we'll kind of center this on these Death Star walkways. There we go. I need to get that all the way up there. And we'll do that. And then that leaves a little gap there. And we could leave that without, or we could put it in. All right, let's see what we got. I don't know that that saved any memory, but I do think that looks better, having that with a lower ceiling. And then when you look at that, yeah, not so sure about that. Let's go ahead and just put that right up, back in the ceiling. I think it does look better that way. Okay. And again, I don't know if that saved any memory or not, but all right, and then I got to plug a gap under here. on either side. Okay. Now, since last time, I also filled in the other side of the hull on the front. And so that's basically done. I mirrored what I had done on the other side. And that, to me, looks pretty decent. It's got the shape. It's got the angle. It's kind of stair-steppy, but there's not really any way to get around that. So I really like how that turned out. All right, and my goal today is to continue working on the stern of the ship. And I think before I start, last time when I had worked on this, I had started working to try to slope this. And I think it might be better to have the goal and work from the end of the ship forward to blend it in. And so as I back this out, I want to look at what I've got. And then I want to look at the screenshot that we've been looking at for the exterior. And I'll put this up in the edited video. I'm looking at it on my iPad. And what we have, we put that dorsal fin up last time, which is just above the big scenic window in the Grand Salon, and to the rear of it a little bit. And then where the rowboat skiff goes, that's where we ended up putting the hatch. So if I come back out here again to the editor, I'm talking about this fin and the hatch, which in the movie was here, but in ours is down here. This is where the rowboat skiff sat. And then if we go back to that screenshot, you can see that after the hatch, it drops off a little bit and then slopes back to the tail fin, where there's the propeller and everything. And you can see how the top and bottom and sides of the ship slope back to that. So I think what I want to do is put in that and try to capture the shape of that rear stabilizer on the back. And I think that's going to help us as we try to get the shape of this thing right. So I think for starters, I don't know if I'm going to put that in there or not. Let's do it this way. All right, so looking at that screen grab, we had the dorsal fin kind of starting like this. And then it went up a little bit. And then it went out. Kind of like that. Let's just see what that looks like. That's not too bad. That's about the right shape of it. And then maybe put this on the back. Oops. Yeah. So something like that. And that. Yeah. And I'm looking at this, kind of figuring this out as I go here, but there's actually a kind of a gap down the middle of this thing. Okay. And that actually could go back a little further. because I'm looking at the scale of that. And I'm thinking this should slide back. I like the shape of it, but it's a little too far forward. So I think we're going to go out 2 spaces. I think that'll get the spacing right between the fin and that hatchway. It'll also give us a little extra room to work with the sides of the ship and the top and bottom and try to slope it in, because at this point on the ship we basically have 1 block wide. And I don't think it should be any wider than that. The tail fin here should be very thin. I think I moved that too far forward. There we go. Only going 2 spaces. Actually, that one could go 3. I think I would rather have the single block sitting up here than on the back. Okay, let's see how that looks for the spacing. That looks better. That looks better. Okay. And then this comes down to there. And let's figure out where the bottom part of this goes. Yeah, that should be that actually, bottom edge of that should be lined up with the bottom edge of the window, but the window is so much taller. This is where we're going to run into a little bit of trouble, I think, because looking at the slope of this, it's going to cut right into this if we mimicked the slope of that properly. But I think this is sticking down further than it did in the movie because of the size of that window there. So, thinking maybe we ought to lower this. Let's see if we can do that without making this too ugly. I don't think I should go 3. That's going to be too much. That's almost really too much as well. That propeller sits right in here, by the way. That might determine, too, how tall we make this thing. What I had in mind for the propeller, and I don't know if this is going to work or not. This is going to be too small, I think. Yeah. It's got to be bigger than that. I like the look of it, but if that was twice as high, I think that would be better. But it's not. The other possibility is under decorations. And it's in the kiln pieces. Problem is, I think it's set in a large square piece. Yeah. And it's got that other little thing sitting in there too, which I don't care for. And it's also wider. So yeah, that's not going to work either. I could build something maybe with a path, but getting things to rotate about an axis on a path is kind of difficult. This is probably the best we're going to be able to do with that. I think this would have to sit right here, which means this is going to have to come back like that. Yeah, that's actually, with that in there, I think this is a good height for this. I would not go any taller, and I think this would have been too short. So that's good. All right, let me, I'm still doing a little finagling here. We're going to pull this over. And I think, let's put in a couple of, let's put in a couple of these. And these, and that balcony block. That might be too big. We'll do that instead. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I think that does have to go down just a bit more. Balcony block. This doesn't have to come down as sharp as the other one did. Yeah, I don't think we want to do that. I think it might be better to leave the curve of this. Looking something like that. That's still not far enough. And then we run into that. What would happen though if we put this in here? That's not too bad. I think really this part should probably come forward and connect with this, is what I'm thinking. Yeah, because this is kind of a smooth transition from here, looking at that screenshot, all the way down to the bottom edge over here, but we got this piece sticking in the out in the way here. But as I'm looking at that, that's actually not too bad. I'm thinking maybe if we replace this floor block with a couple of smaller pieces, that might work. All right, I got to put my power disk down for Calhoun's command. Alright, so let's take that out. We'll pick that one up. We're going to put down this. And let's set this to be Calhoun's command. I lost my train of thought there for a moment. Alright, so looking at this, we have that. Alright. Yeah, I'm trying to decide which way makes more sense. Alright, so we know at this point we have to have at least that. And then somehow this has to taper in. To there. And then to a single block over here. And then about this point we can start getting wide again. And I'm thinking because we have this propeller thing here, this middle section could be wide. Like that. And then we would expand this shape out to here and down to there. That's what I'm thinking. And we could even, maybe, because the sub is taller, even maybe mess with this a little bit and make it the wider section a little taller than it really is. Okay. Yeah, so from here we got a stair step out and down and blend that in. Okay. We have this piece out here. Because of this floor, we could actually, can we take that out? I think we could. I don't have a small piece on that side though. Whatever I do on one side, I should do on the other, is what I'm thinking. How are we doing on time? Oh my. Time is slipping by here pretty quickly. Okay, well. I'm thinking this part has to go like this. And because of that, we can bring this part out. We could come down like so. And do something like that. And okay, it's kind of a stair step. I'd love to have an angled piece in here, but then that might look a little funny. And I'm not sure I can fit one of these in here. Oh yeah, we can. I'll plug the gap behind there. And that'll plug the gap behind there. Okay, so that's starting to taper back. It's looking a little squarish, but it may not be too bad. We'll have to try to figure out the bottom of this next time, I think. What I'm thinking is have a kind of a stair step part after this, so we bring this down, and then we have the bottom come, maybe something like that. Yeah, I think that would look better than having this piece just sticking all out, is just extend this bottom section out. Okay, well, I think at this point I will wrap up this video for the day. We're already almost at the half-hour mark, so I'll look at this a little bit more offline and compare the screenshot and try to come up with a plan for that bottom section that maybe we can look at next time. But I won't actually build anything offline. I'll be sure to do that online so you can kind of see me work my way through it. But before you go, leave a comment and let me know what you think of the tail section of the Nautilus and the completed front part of it, as well as Jet Blast 190's shorter hallway there just off the engine room. Let me know what you think of that too. Thank you again for all of your thoughts and prayers for Mrs. Toybox, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.